say about monogamy from the context of your book, from the context of evolutionary biology, from the context of being human?
Yeah, I can say that I fully believe that we are actually enlightened, and that although monogamy is waning, that it is not waning because there is a superior system. It is waning for predictable other reasons. So,
This is where Brett really impresses me. To redeem what I previously said, he terribly botched the meaning of life, but he really nailed it on monogamy. And him and his wife, Heather, went on Joe Rogan together and actually spoke about marriage and relationships and monogamous partnerships a long, long time ago, and it was it was fantastic. It really was. I highly suggest checking it out. In fact, I'm probably going to do a stream about it tomorrow, and we'll reference this clip again and also that one.
let's just say there is a lot of pre-trans fallacy here where people go through a phase where they recognize that actually we know a lot about the evolution of monogamy, and we can tell from the fact that humans are somewhat sexually dimorphic that there has been a lot of polygyny in human history. And in fact, most of human history was largely polygynous. But it is also the case that most of the people on Earth today belong to civilizations that are at least nominally monogamous and have practiced monogamy. And that's not anti-evolutionary. What that is part of what I mentioned before, where human beings can swap out their software program. And different mating patterns are favored in different periods of history. So I would argue that the benefit of monogamy, the primary one that drives the evolution of monogamous patterns in humans, is that it brings all adults into child rearing. Now, the reason that that matters is because human babies are very labor intensive. In order to raise them properly, having two parents is a huge asset, and having more than two parents, having an extended family, also very important. But what that means is that for a population that is expanding, a monogamous mating system makes sense. It makes sense because it means that the number of offspring that can be raised is elevated. It's elevated because all potential parents are involved in parenting. Whereas if you sideline a bunch of males by having a polygynous system in which one male has many females, which is typically the way that works, what you do is you sideline all those males, which means the total amount of parental effort is lower and the population can't grow. So
You also cause this issue where you have extraneous active force in society. Remember, males are the biological manifestation of the masculine force. They are which is the active force, and you can't have a bunch of active forces that aren't grounded by a neutral force and have stability. So this is a very, very big deal. I actually disagree with him that the main reason why marriage is so important is because to society these days, essentially, not even these days, but to modern technological society, is because uh, of child rearing. It's not just because of child rearing, but child rearing is the motivator, like you said, for marriage. So if you're not rearing children, especially if you don't have government, handouts and specialization, hyper specialization of fields and cops to protect you instead of needing a man to protect you, and hospitals to deliver, the children, and like there's just so many specialized services and service people to fulfill the role that was traditionally filled by a husband these days, and that is causing problems with seeing the value in marriage. But marriage is part of the theory of everything. It is an essential part of the theory of everything. every single structure in the periodicity of sentience is involved in a marriage structure in order to form the succeeding or stacking structure above it. If we so basically castes are the assembly of families. So if we don't make families, aka marriages, with a positive growth, because remember the universe is moving, so we have to move with it. It's just it seems like it's fundamental, but it's at least an emergent aspect of entropy. It seems like it is a moral obligation of humanity, if you and people in general, if you are able to get married and have at least 3 children. Because if you don't have at least 3 children, then you are replacing 2 with 2. And replacing 2 with 2 is staticness, and staticness is doesn't grow meaning the same way that in an exponential way, like growth in relativity would allow for exponential growth of meaning in objectivity. So you would want to have more than replacement rate of children.